You can't see this.
Wow, hot. To put those,
The cycle is not just about the blood. It's about the body becoming fertile, the sites becoming fertile, and the soul becoming fertile. Ina May Ganskin. Have you ever noticed that without even trying, our menstrual cycles seem to sync up with those around us? It's often left unexplained and chalked up to pure coincidence. But why does this happen? Why do our bodies align in such mysterious ways, and what might that mean for us? I'm sure many of you have experienced times where you do sync up with your friends and family. I know that I've had that moment countless times. I found myself curious on why menstrual synchronization occurs, and I've decided to dive into the research. I'm looking at scientific studies, expert opinions, as well as reflecting on my own experiences. Today I'm going to explore the fascinating phenomenon of menstrual synchronization by examining what a menstrual cycle is, what's its purpose, and why cycles might synchronize in the first place, and the potential effects synchronization has on our bodies and relationships. Let's begin by understanding what exactly the menstrual cycle is and why it's so important in the first place. After all, before we dive into how cycles might sync up, we first need to grasp the purpose and intricacies of our individual cycles. Let's start by breaking down the basics. What is the menstrual cycle and how does it impact our bodies? The menstrual cycle is a monthly process in which the ovaries release a mature egg, a step known as ovulation. If the egg is not fertilized by sperm, the lining of the uterus, or the endometrium, it is shed through the menstruation. The cycle is a natural part of the female reproductive system and typically occurs each month. Health writer and nurse Carrie Madormo shares her insight on a website titled How the Female Reproductive System Works. By saying, one person reaches puberty, the ovaries mature and begin secreting sex hormones. For most people, the ovaries release one egg each month, a process known as ovulation. The purpose of the menstrual cycle is to prepare the body for potential pregnancy. Ovulation, the release of an egg, provides the possibility for fertilization, while the shedding of the uterine line ensures that the body resets itself for the next cycle. If pregnancy does not occur, menstruation signals the end of one cycle and the beginning of another, maintaining the female reproductive system's readiness for conception. Carrie Madormo shares on the same website, the female reproductive system causes a person to experience menstrual periods. Each month, a mature egg is released. If the egg is not fertilized by sperm, the pregnancy does not occur. And a person experiences menstruation when the blood and tissue from the uterine wall, the endometrium, are shed through the vagina. Having established the fundamental purpose and function of the menstrual cycle, let us now explore the intriguing concept of menstrual synchronization and how it comes into play. In his 2006 study, Dr. Shanks argues that menstrual synchronization is not scientifically supported. It's instead a product of pure coincidence. He believes that the idea of menstrual synchronization occurring naturally among women lacks empirical evidence and is more likely a result of random chance. According to Shanks, when researchers observed a group of women, any synchronization that was detected could easily be explained by statistical clustering, rather than an actual biological or evolutionary mechanism at work. He highlights that the patterns observed in these studies were not consistent, further challenging the notion that menstrual synchronization is not a biological phenomenon. In short, Shanks suggests that the concept is a myth, driven more by anecdotal observations than by solid scientific proof. Multimedia journalist Katrina Clark shares her findings with Shanks' study on a website labeled CBC Life, titled Blood Sisters, Do Women's Menstrual Cycles Really Sync Up? She states, in his 2006 study titled Women Do Not Synchronize Their Menstrual Cycles, Shanks looked at a menstrual cycle of 186 Chinese women living in a dorm for more than 1 year. He found that when menstrual synchronization did occur, it was by chance. Not all women have the same length of cycle. For example, some women menstruate every 28 days, others every 30. And others infrequently, he says. So it makes sense that there will be some overlap. Many studies have shown that perceived synchronization of menstrual cycles among women may be the result of confirmation bias and flawed study design, rather than any biological phenomenon. For example, researchers have found that menstrual cycles may align randomly, especially in smaller groups, making it seem more as synchronization is occurring. However, when larger group samples and more rigorous methods are applied, such patterns are often not observed. This suggests that the belief in menstrual synchronization might be a psychological effect where women are more likely to notice or remember instances with their cycles aligning, reinforcing the idea that synchronization is real even when it's not. It's amplified by our human perception. Having explored the argument that menstrual synchronization is simply a coincidence and not supported by science, let us now shift our focus on potential effects this phenomenon, real or perceived, may have on women's health and women's bodies. Menstrual synchronization may foster a sense of emotional connection and solidarity among women who experience it. When women's cycles align, they may feel a shared experience, which could strengthen their relationships. This sense of synchronization might promote empathy, as they can support one another through similar symptoms, such as mood swings, cramps, or fatigue. As a result, synchronized menstrual cycles might enhance bonding, particularly among friends or family members, creating a sense of mutual understanding and shared experience. On the other hand, synchronization menstrual cycles might also increase stress within social groups. If multiple women are dealing with menstrual symptoms at the same time, it could result in heightened emotion responses or tension, as the collective discomfort might make it harder to manage social interactions. For example, if everyone is experiencing irritability or physical discomfort simultaneously, it might lead to a more frequent conflict or less harmonious atmosphere. Additionally, if one person feels out of sync or struggles to synchronize with other people, it could create a feeling of isolation. Today we explored menstrual synchronization, starting with the purpose of menstrual cycles, which prepares the body for pregnancy. We discussed Dr. Shank's 2006 study, which suggests that synchronization is likely a coincidence. And we have also, pointing to chance rather than statistical clustering, rather than any scientific bias. Finally, we looked at the potential effects of synchronization, where while it might be strengthening our emotional bonds, it could also make feelings of isolation occur. In the end, whether our cycles sync up or not, the connections we share with others are what truly matter. Thank you.
Very informative. She's writing